Hi guys, this is my second video and I just wanted to, just share my um, experience so far and my journey with being diagnosed with CFS and um, where I am now. Uh, I, 6 years ago, I moved out with my cousin into a house that was pretty much riddled with mold, disgusting toxic mold. And, prior to moving out, I was quite a fit, active, outgoing sort of a person. Sort of enjoyed living. And moving into this house, I remember sort of just sitting on the lounge one day and no one was home and just feeling really lazy. And for me, somebody who is keen to, keep the house tidy and everything's orderly, and sort of someone constantly on the go, TV wasn't much. Well, it wasn't something that I did that much. It was sort of a sometimes thing, just a chill out time. But for me, I began to see myself on the lounge a lot and started to feel like maybe I was just being a bit lazy, and how embarrassing, because this is not me at all. And sort of got to a stage where I was hiding that, because that is all I wanted to do, was just stay in bed or sit on the lounge and watch TV, which is, it was hard for me to come to terms with, because I didn't quite understand it, because it was so different to how I had lived previously. I began to start to hide things like the laundry and stuff like that, just shut it behind a closed door, or, my day just became a whole lot of nothing, really. I was working at the time as a nanny, and it was actually quite a stressful job. I would say the most stressful job I've ever had. Struggled with the wife accusing the husband of having an affair with me, which is blew my mind, because that's not the sort of person that I am. And secondly, I only met the guy once, so going to work and I guess being verbally abused for insecurities of herself stressed me out a lot. So living stressed and in a house of mold, and also drinking a lot of alcohol, because at the time my housemate liked his beverages and would constantly pour me a glass, and for me, I was okay with that at the time, but that just weakens your body, obviously, and mixed with stress, well, anyone's going to get sick, I reckon, in that situation. Anyway, I had no idea what it was, and I had moved out of that house. Just, I guess, unable to sort of keep up financially, because I had given up the job. And I started going to the doctors to try and work out what was wrong with me, because it was just sort of beginning beyond a joke. And sort of took me a few visits to get to a stage where I was being tested for my thyroid, and they found a suspicious lump on my thyroid, which they wanted to remove. which was pretty scary for me, having a knife cutting open your throat. That's just disgusting. But because the lump was so concerning, that at the time was the option was to remove half of my thyroid. Anyway, they thought that was, what was making me feel the way I felt, just really unwell and quite fatigued, and that I would feel better after I recovered from that, and making sure that my hormones were level. Once that had happened, to be honest, I actually started to feel worse, and they just couldn't work it out. And for me, that was a really hard thing. I started to think, oh, it's all in my head. I'm just a lazy person. I'm just unfit. I need to exercise more. I need to eat better, which I did. But in turn, that actually made me a lot tighter, a lot more worn out, and yeah, I really did struggle with that. I started to see I started to go to a holistic centre, so I changed doctors, and that is when I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, which in a way was one of the happiest days of my life, because I was able to put a name to something that I felt. But it was also one of the saddest days for me, because I was told there's actually nothing you can do about it. This is a condition that you have for life, and we just try and work out how to manage it best for you. Who wants to hear that? Nobody wants to hear that. So for me, I guess I was just trying to put it out of my mind. Like, I'm just going to have to, keep going, keep living, and just do whatever the doctors say. Now, being a holistic centre, it's quite pricey, and it's hard to keep on top of, especially when you're having tests that aren't covered by Medicare. And they're sort of suggesting that you go on things like compound tablets, which is a vitamin tablet, usually an AM and a PM tablet, that is filled with the right vitamins or the right minerals for your body, or that is showing your body is lacking in the blood tests. Now, these tablets, they are very pricey. So every time they said, let's try this, we're going to try a new compound, I'm inside panicking, thinking, how am I going to be able to pay for this? Plus the appointment, Anyway, they haven't helped me much at all in the past. Then she suggested that I try vitamin B12 shots. Now, needles scare the absolute crap out of me. I'm thinking about getting these shots that I was supposed to be doing myself, and paying for them was just hard for me to get my head around. But when you're sick, you will try everything that you can to get better, to feel better. And so I did. I couldn't do them myself, and I got my sister-in-law to do them for me, but in all honesty, it didn't affect me or change anything for me. I did not feel better, or didn't feel worse either, but it was just a waste of time for me. And going back to the doctors and then wanting to suggest another avenue, I couldn't do it. It's so draining when you think that something is going to help you and it actually really doesn't. So I don't know, guess for years I just sort of focused more on my diet, not being able to exercise. I tried running because I used to run a lot, but that was getting really hard for me, and I'd get home and I'd be shaking like crazy and just wanting to curl up in a ball because I just felt so sick. So that didn't exactly help me. Um, I was living by myself with my daughter, and although diet was okay because I sort of had a bit more control over what was coming into my house, so there's less chance of eating inconvenience food or eating crap because you don't have crap in your house, and knowing what you're going to eat makes you feel a lot better. But unable to work, unable to hold down a job because I felt so sick. I guess hiding that from people, like ashamed that that is my life, was a really hard thing. And I was going into my savings, and that was basically what I was living off with the help of Centrelink, which is amazing, but just not enough for my daughter and I to survive everyday living on the basics. And I got to a stage where I said to my parents, I can't do this anymore, I need to come home, which was a really hard decision for me. But anyway, I've been home for the last 2 years, or maybe 2.5 years, and it's been so much more helpful. Like, yeah, it's definitely been the best move that I have made. But basically, not having total control over the food that comes in and out of the house has been quite difficult, and not having an appetite and making yourself eat, it's always crap for me. Just dodgy food, something convenience on the way out the door, you know. But the last 3 months have been quite difficult, and I did come to a stage a few weeks ago where I was driving my daughter to school, and I just drive home just thinking, man, I can understand why people end their lives. I fully get it. It's about at what stage do you, just thinking at what stage do you decide that that's time to go, like that you just can't do it anymore. And the thought of that just being so scary, and a couple of days later, that's where I was at. I was driving the car and I did not want to do it anymore. I didn't want to be here anymore, and I made the decision to shut my eyes and press the accelerator harder, and in the hopes of crashing and not surviving. But in my mind, I'm seeing my daughter, and thank goodness I did, because that's what made me pull over and stop and regain control of my emotions at the time, because that was a real low point for me. And anyway, I drove home and I told both my parents how I was feeling, that I'm struggling. This is a hard time for me, and basically what had just happened on the drive home, and which I think scared them a bit as well. But it was that, from that day, that I've just thought, no, I need to get better. I can't do this anymore. I've got to recover. If not for myself, I've got to do it for my daughter. She needs her mum, and that is now my mission to successfully recover. It's not easy, and I don't think it will ever be easy. Hopefully it is, but from where I'm feeling how I'm feeling right now, I don't see that it's going to be an easy road, but it will be certainly worth it. But that is what I plan to do, is recover, and these videos I believe are going to help me, because there's going to be that accountability of sorts. And yeah, I'm just going to keep updating these little videos, and hopefully some of them resonate with you and even help you in some way, or yeah, who knows. But yeah, that's my journey so far. But I plan to post a video shortly, or in the next couple of days, on living with chronic fatigue syndrome and being a parent, because it's hard work, but I do want to share that with you guys, because I know that there's a lot of you out there. And yeah, anyway, so thanks for your time. I hope your journey is not as low as mine has been in the last few weeks, but if it is, this may help you. There are people around you that do care about you and do want you here and do want you healthy and recovered. And you know, yeah, it's going to be a long road, but it's going to be worth it. And yeah, anyway, I wish you luck. Talk to you soon.